NSFW, what is the best accidental nudity you have seen? Walking to school on a soggy morning. Saw my art teacher in her minivan changing her clothes. Normally, you can't really see into the side passenger area windows well because they were semi-tinted a deeper color. But it just stopped raining a bit earlier and the sun came through the clouds and shined down on the car, lighting it and the area in general up very bright, and I could see right into the car window. Mind you, my art teacher was 29 at the time. Fit and moderately attractive. Full on boobies. I was 14. In 9th grade. Probably one of the best days at school followed thereafter. Saw a hot chick accidentally pull her shirt up when taking off a sweater. She wasn't wearing a bra. My life isn't very exciting. Lol. When I was in 3rd grade we had a really pretty, red-headed student teacher. I can't remember her name, but I remember she was teaching us French for some reason. Apparently she spoke it really well. I'm not sure why that'd be part of the 3rd grade experience. One day she came over to help me at my desk with something and leaned on my desk and bent over. For whatever reason, she decided not to wear a bra that day, and right in front of my face, swinging in her dress, were the biggest boobs I had seen up to that point. It was glorious. I truly believe that event changed me and set the type of women I've been into ever since. It was certainly a formative experience. At a party in HS, my best friend got hammered and passed out in the front lawn halfway through. I was hanging with my other buddy and his GF, who was also hammered. When he decided to go check on my best friend, he asked me to make sure his GF didn't do anything stupid while he was gone. She flashed me. I failed him. I install security alarms, cameras, sensors, locks. On one install I placed a camera in the master bedroom like the husband had asked. While I was still there installing, I was checking the cameras and finishing up the tests, and the wife came out of the bathroom completely naked from the shower. I hastily tried to exit the screen, but the husband, who was peering over my shoulder, told me not to and just stared at his naked wife while I was in between him and the screen. Edit. Thank you Eurazitip for assisting kindly to the correction of my spelling. Edit 2. I did not have a sex with either of them that time. Female friend of mine was getting ready for her sister's wedding. Go see. She was sending me snaps of herself asking questions like necklace or no to me and her BF, and she accidentally sent me a picture of her tits hanging out in the dress she was wearing. Edit. Trust me, she did not intend on sending me that pic. 10/10. I was at my friend's beach house when I was 16. He had a really hot sister that was about 20 at the time. We were watching TV in the living room and she comes in to hang out with us wearing a t-shirt and loose-fitting boy shorts. Looked more like boxers, to be honest. She sat near me and put her legs up in such a way that I had a marvelous view of her lady parts through the baggy leg of the shorts. I tried not to stare, but it was pretty cool when I was 16. My dad lived a few towns over from my mom, so I didn't really know anyone in his neighborhood. I was about 13 at the time, and there was a high school girl that lived across the street from him. She'd get changed almost every night in front of her big open windows, and I watched every time I was there. Around 16 at the time, I left my house after my sister and her 2 friends came over, one of which is just absolutely banging with an amazing body that I may have thought about once or twice. Anyway, nobody else was home. Forgot something in my room, so I ran back in, but I guess nobody heard me come in. I walk down the hallway to my room and pass my sister's doorway that was open. I glance over and my brain locks me into place mid-stride. Jaw hits the floor while it burns the image of her butt naked cupping her breasts. They all look over at me and scream. I can't look away. She runs toward me and closes the door. I ran to my room. Took a few minutes to savor what I saw, and left. Edit. They're all 3 years older. Edit 2. Uosta 195 is much prettier and smarter than said naked lady. Edit 3. Thanks for the gold, friend. Edit 4. My sister was not naked. As a kid, I always went to summer camp in a different state, and we would often take multi-day canoe trips around the general area. On one of these trips, after a long day of paddling down a river, the trip leader decided to stop on an island and set up camp for the night. As the day progressed, The sunshine turned to rain, and before we knew it, it was a full-on monsoon. As me and a bunch of other boys huddled under a tarp, someone pointed out 2 people swimming on the other side of the river. We notice it's 2 guys and a girl and continue to watch. Before we know it, the girl stands up, revealing that she is actually completely nude. In fact, all 3 were skinny dipping. Being teenage boys, we began to yell and wave at them, asking if they would like any s'mores, while taking turns looking through the binoculars. We thought they would be embarrassed. However, they weren't fazed by this, and one of the dudes began to swim over. I will never forget his face as he got closer and realized we were a bunch of little kids. Needless to say, we gave him a s'more. TL. Doctor saw a naked river girl and fed a naked man a s'more. Handed the Verizon guy my phone to get it turned back on. Opened Safari, and first thing that popped up was the best pic of my boobs to date. We both just laughed it off. Smoking hot girl going down a water slide. Her bikini top got caught and came off. She had some very nice boobs. I was in London, and my sister and I got last minute tickets to see Patrick Stewart in A Life in the Theatre. We had amazing seats, 3rd or 4th row center, so at one point during the play, Patrick Stewart sits down on a folding chair, right in the center, in front of us. He was wearing loose shorts, and his ducking balls were showing through the shorts. They were huge. It was glorious and incredibly awkward at the same time. The whole scene, he's just balls out. I still can't look at him without thinking, dude, I saw your balls. When I was like 8 or 9, I was being driven by my mom somewhere, and staring out the window, in the car right next to us at a stoplight, this gorgeous blonde just casually takes off her shirt, removes her bra, then puts a new shirt on. My jaw was on the floor. Mom didn't even notice. I'll never forget it. Winning. I used to work in an electronics store. We regularly had promo staff and reps in on the weekends to sell their stuff in store. This particular weekend we had 3 models in promoting some camera or other. Late afternoon, I go into the customer collections room where reserved stock is kept to look for an item. As I'm clearly in there looking for something, these 3 girls burst in and start stripping off their branded dresses to change and go home. In shock, I say, "Do you want me to go out?" And they're like, "Nah, it's okay." Then some checkout girl comes in and laughs, gasps and drags me out. Gutted. When I was living in New Zealand, one night my roommate brought home some guy from the bar and they had 6 on the couch. Just so happened that the couch was on the opposite side of the wall from my bed, so I heard it all. But that's besides the point. The next morning I woke up to a text from a different roommate that there was a naked guy on the couch. I casually went to the bathroom to sneak a peek, and there he was, in all his glory, passed out on the couch. The roommate who brought him home was nowhere to be found. We later found her curled up on the bathroom floor, also naked, and now they're married. The end. When I was in high school, I was deep in the friend zone with this girl I was infatuated with. I was at her house and she came out of the shower wrapped in a towel that accidentally came off, and I got to see everything. When I was about 6, I was at the ocean with parents. My dad was playing with me in the breaking waves on the beach. I saw a rough wave wash over this young lady a few feet from us and it totally swept her bikini bottom off. I couldn't believe it, and no one, including her, seemed to be aware for several long seconds. It was a massive late 1970s push. I saw it before my dad and pointed and yelled, "Look at the hair." My dad was up to speed quickly and swept me up, facing me the other way, as a guy apparently with the woman somehow found her beacon before it was lost forever. She was sitting down in the water when he brought them over and said, "You lose something." I learned a lot that day. Work at a hotel on the beach. Usually, every night before I leave I take a walk around the building. Just make sure everything is okay. People are quiet, etc. All of our rooms have balconies, but luckily the way our building is set up you can't see into another balcony from another balcony. Earlier that day I had a newlywed couple checking in. All went normal then. Later that night, did my rounds, and I saw them on their balcony. He's leaning up against a patio chair turned backwards, pants pulled down, and she's sitting on the chair, giving him head. Okay, for all purposes that's technically an evictable offense. But I just remembered they're a newlywed couple. No one else can see them on their balcony the way our building is configured, so I just turned around, walked back inside, and let it be. At least I know their marriage got off to a good start. Hopefully it stayed that way. During college, I was drunk at a party that ended up moving to a local bar. One of the hot girls in the class ahead of mine came up to me and this other dude. The other dude, I guess, had a bet with her or something and took her walking up as the perfect time to remind her. He said, "Remember, you still need to flash me for who care what it was." I might be paraphrasing. She gives him an annoyed look and then just flashes the both of us for a good 5-10 seconds. Very nice boobs would look again. I work at McDonald's, and one day while I was handing a woman her food I saw that she was in the middle of sending nudes. My sister and her boyfriend were having sex. It was hard to tell with the noise. Well, after an hour I hear her door close and I think, thank God he left, I can't take her it now. I walk into the bathroom, drop my pants in the dark and start to squat when the light turns on and her boyfriend walks out naked full staff and says, "Ready for more?" I stare just in shock and he now realizes that I am not my sister, just coughs and walks away. I no longer feel safe to it in my own bathroom. Pull my pants up and just go bed. I was about 10 and we went snorkeling with a group on vacation. This old unattractive woman's breast popped out while she was underwater. She didn't notice. I couldn't stop staring. First real boobs I ever saw. Walked into bathroom at my best friend's house when I was 12 years old. I saw his older sister in tub. We made eye contact. FTW. Fast forward 8 years. She now is Instagram famous with a few 100,000 followers. We both know I was first to see the goods, but stopped being friends with brother, so never again. Not sure if you can say accidentally, but my neighbor used to be a manager for, exotic dancers. One day I'm out in my garden and happened to look up at their back bedroom. That was when I discovered where auditions took place. I got a lot of fresh air from that day on. I delivered pizza for 7 years. My girlfriend sent me nudes of her dog instead of herself by mistake. That's right. The dog was naked. Like completely naked. When I was a junior in high school I had a math teacher that was probably in her late 20s or early 30s. One day near the end of the first semester she was wearing a dress of sorts. It was in Florida so it wasn't getting cold at all, and she was trying to reach something off the top shelf near her desk when the two straps holding up her dress just snapped and the entire dress fell to her feet. Sure, she was still wearing panties, but the dress didn't hide bra straps and well, that was nice. I didn't have her the second semester, but from what I heard she got in some trouble for wearing inappropriate attire for a teacher and had been suspended for the first month of the semester. My wife used to do triathlons. The sprint and Olympic lengths, not Ironmans. She was doing a women's only sprint triathlon and I'm hanging out near her bike waiting for her to return from the swim. First leg of the race. The most experienced athletes bike and run in their one-piece swimsuit. Inexperienced people take the time to change their clothes. There was a young woman on her late 20s changing nearby my wife. Obviously new to this stuff. She had planned a different set of clothes for each activity. She had some friends holding up towels to shield her while she changed from her swimsuit to her bicycling gear. She got the suit off and struggled to get her bike shorts on over her wet legs while crouching behind the towels. Then she just said, "Oh duck it," stood up bare-chested and proceeded to struggle with her athletic bra. She had a nice all-over tan. I'll give her that much. This was also one of my top "this it just kicked in" moments. I was hiking Mt. Lafayette and knew that I was nearing the top. It's a decent hike so I was pretty beat and ready for a break. On the last climb I could see a large boulder up ahead that was sitting at the summit. I pushed forward a bit and looked up again toward the boulder. At the base of it was a gorgeous mostly naked girl squatting down. I thought to myself, well, this is a hell of a reward for the hike. She then proceeded to stand, zip up a full body Scooby-Doo costume and walked over to her friends. Was at an indoor water park waiting in line for the attraction that simulates surfing. Florida, I think. Well, there was this really cute girl up and she bails face first. Now if you know of these attractions, you know that there is a lot of force behind the water. As it turns out, it is enough force to completely remove a person's bikini, both top and bottom. Must have been really embarrassing for her, but I liked the piercings. At a Renaissance festival I saw a hypnotist hypnotize a woman to make her believe it was a hot, sunny day and she was on a boat alone. She started stripping naked and got her shirt off before the hypnotist woke her up. When I was working as a PA on a TV show, we filmed an episode at a fashion show. I spent the evening wandering around backstage getting models to sign releases. Most of them were naked or half naked. Best work day of my life. I saw this homeless guy take it all over the side of a Wells Fargo. Was working in my fish and chip shop and just across the road is a bunch of terrace houses. The windows upstairs start on the floor but I assume the girl had no idea. My mum actually pointed it out to me and it was a girl butt naked in front of her window. The guys in the garage around the corner was walking down the street opposite of her window and got an eyeful too. I later learned she was the sister of a guy I went to school with. Wasn't accidental. Went to France with my family when I was about 10 or 11. We got to the beach and I couldn't believe it. Topless women everywhere. Let's just say I had to lay front down on the sand for the majority of the holiday.